Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2007 horror creature feature, Rogue, a film that is written and directed by Greg McLean, and it stars Michael Vartan, Radha Mitchell, Sam Worthington before his Avatar fame, Caroline Brazier, Stephen Curry, Celia Ireland and John Jarrett. Now this is a film that, to be honest, I'd not really heard of. And it was brought to my attention by a subscriber and fellow YouTuber, Bangkokonian1967, who had participated in the Guilty Pleasures tag video that I did recently. And this film was on his list. I'd never seen it, it sounded interesting. Giant killer crocodile, what's not cool about that? So I thought I would seek it out and watch it, and I have now seen this film. And this film focuses on, and it's set in Australia, it focuses on a group of tourists that take like a pleasure cruise or a tourist trip on this barge on an Australian river. Radha Mitchell's the tourist guide. A few tourists on there, and they are then set upon and terrorised by a rogue killer croc as they enter its territory. They are then left abandoned on this small island that is slowly sinking. As the tide comes in, the island begins sinking more and more and more, and eventually they are going to be left with no island at all and completely at the mercy of this huge rogue killer croc, and they have to band together to try and figure out a way to survive. So that is the basic plot and the outline of the film here. So what are my thoughts on Rogue? Well, as creature features go, this is a pretty bloody good one, I have to say. Really good production values, great cast. Yes, it was before he was what you could call famous, Sam Worthington, but he's not the main star here. I mean, the main characters in this film are Radha Mitchell's character and Michael Vartan, who plays like a he travels the world and he documents his trips for like a travel magazine, things like that. So he's there like experiencing this tour and holiday sort of thing. But they're the two main leads here, but there are, like I said, there are many other tourists on this barge, and they all have to kind of band together. Some of them with, you know, highly panicky personalities, some more rational. So you've got the whole broad spectrum here. You know, the panicky ones, the sensible ones, the ones trying to be humorous, the courageous ones, all that kind of stuff. So you get every single personality kind of on this island, and they all kind of clash and things like that. But in actual fact here, it's a really well made, tension filled creature feature here, with some pretty intense and graphic chomping scenes, I suppose is the best way to say it. It doesn't really hold back here, and it is quite frightening at times. And there's some decent action set pieces here of people being flung about and limbs being devoured, and pretty frightening stuff really. I mean, I suppose you could compare it to things like Lake Placid. Lake Placid is more of a comedy than this. There's not much humour in this compared to that, but you know, it's a similar kind of film in many ways. But I certainly enjoyed my time with this film. I thought what little character development we had, for some of them, we had some interesting character development, and I appreciated that. And surprisingly, Sam Worthington's character, who kind of starts off as, you know, the bad guy on the river who's harassing them on the tour, turns into quite an honourable, courageous guy in the film, which was a nice turn up for the books. You thought he was going to be, you know, a real pain to everybody, and in actual fact he's actually the one with the brain cells to a large degree, and tries his best to save people. So I liked his arc. I liked a couple of other arcs in the film. You know, some of them were given backstories of, you know, I'm poorly, I've not got long left, all that kind of stuff. And you've got others that you just think, you're an idiot, do you realise what you're doing, you're going to put everyone at risk. So you get everybody doing all these things, and it keeps you on your edge of your seat, keeps you on your toes, because you just never know when this croc's going to strike. And that's the great thing about this film. They give you loads of info about crocs and what they do and how they hide the bodies and store them somewhere and all that kind of stuff for later. And it's one of those films like as soon as someone goes anywhere near the water, you kind of like, something bad's going to happen here. Really, really bad. Something's going to happen here. And most of the times you're right, but sometimes not always, but it still keeps the tension going, and all you're watching is someone traversing over water, but you're expecting the worst. And there's a great sequence at the end, where the lead character Michael Vartan, who plays Pete, the travelling guy who documents the holidays and things like that, he really becomes the real hero of the piece here by trying his best to save someone. I try not to say too much there because I don't want to spoil it in case you haven't seen this film. It's quite difficult sometimes when it's a film that's been out on a good number of years, but I still try my best not to spoil films where I can. But from my perspective, I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was a lot of fun, it was well made, some good effects for the croc, and from my perspective I thought this was a really nicely put together creature feature that I think you should all check out if this is your sort of thing. So I'm going to give it a very solid 8 out of 10. It's brainless fun, but it's fun nonetheless, so it's certainly something I would recommend checking out if you have never seen it. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'll see you back for more reviews on Screen Stars very soon.